meeting is being held to conform with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act and the council's organizational rules. The public has been notified of the date, time, and place of the meeting. Public notice and the agenda was placed on the county website and the bulletin board at the county administration building at least 24 hours prior to the start of the meeting. First up tonight is the invocation. Councilor Linville.
Heavenly Father, thank you for those who are gathered here today and for everyone who is working for the betterment of our county, our state, and our country. Please watch over those here, give them wisdom and discerning and open hearts to listen, to learn, and to make good decisions. And please watch over us all as we safely leave here today. In your name we pray. Amen.
Next up is the Pledge of Allegiance. We have Sheriff Blankenship. He's going to introduce us to some of Pickens County's finest to lead us in the pledge.
Absolutely. Thank you, Council. Tonight I'd like to introduce a member of the Pickens County Sheriff's Office who truly represents the dedication and professionalism of our agency, one of our K-9 units. Unfortunately, due to some illness and some folks being out of town, the only animal we were allowed to bring to able to get up here is one of our bloodhounds, Tank, and his handler, Agent Crump. But our handlers are their partners are an indispensable part of our mission. Together they help us in our relentless pursuit of criminals who break the law, whether that's tracking suspects, locating evidence, or detecting illegal narcotics, or even finding missing or endangered persons. They are force multipliers that enhance the safety that both our deputies and our citizens deserve. But this value extends beyond just the enforcement of the law. These K-9 teams are also some of our greatest ambassadors in the community, whether they're visiting schools, attending community events, or meeting with families and children. They help us build the trust in the relationships and create positive connections between the Sheriff's Office and the people of this county. So it is my honor at this time to invite Agent Crump and Tank.
That's a great.
Yes.
Yeah, he's doing the job.
He's looking for someone.
Join in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. As a token of our appreciation, we've got a gift for Tank over here. Here we go. So I'm gonna, and we want to get a picture of this. One of the biggest heroes in the county. Here you go.
He's so big.
Yeah, let me get it. There you go, Tommy. Great. All right, thank you very much. All right, thank you. Okay, next up is the, oh, one more thing. Was there a slide to show how we can donate to the K-9 fund? We got that?
Yes, there was.
All right, let's get that up there. Camera's out.
Yeah, if you scan the QR code,
Okay.
it will take you to their page about being able to donate.
Okay, so if you don't not able to do that, you go to the Pickens. What do you just Google
Go
Pickens
to the
County?
Pickens County Sheriff's Office website, and there is a page on that website for the K-9 Foundation.
So yeah, so we want to support that the best we can. We can do that. Thank you very much. Okay, next item up is the public forum. And we got a couple of guest speakers tonight. Tonight, our first guest speaker is Christina Smith. She's the chairman of the board of Mary's House.
Mr. Chairman, council members, everyone in attendance. First, thank you for inviting me to be here this evening. I also want to thank each of you for your willingness to serve the citizens of Pickens County. I know the service requires your time, commitment, dedication, and I sincerely appreciate it. I simply wanted to take a few moments tonight to remind you that Mary's House still is here, still serving, still committed to helping individuals and families affected by domestic violence. Since opening our doors in 2008, our mission has remained the same, to provide safety, stability, education, and custody that are escaping someone leaves an abusive home, they aren't just leaving a house, they're leaving behind everyone and everything that's familiar. Often they leave with little to nothing. They leave behind routines, possessions, relationships, and many times the confidence to live a life and to believe that one can be different than what they've already had. Our purpose has never been simply to provide. It is to help people build their lives through licensed counseling, practical life skills, and compassionate support as families begin again. We believe lasting change comes through restoration, not just rescue. Tonight, I'm not here to ask for anything. I am here for one simple reason, to say thank you. To remind you that your investment in this community extends far beyond the infrastructure. Every decision that you make strengthens Pickens County. It helps create a place where families can heal, children can thrive, and hope has room to grow. Thank you to the citizens of Pickens County who have faithfully supported Mary's House through many giving and financial contributions, volunteer services, and countless acts of kindness. For nearly 18 years, your support has allowed us to remain a place of safety and hope. Domestic violence does not discriminate. It touches every neighborhood and every walk of life here in Pickens County. While many people may never walk through our doors, chances are they know someone who needs to. As county council, the decisions you make help shape the future of Pickens County. Mary's House is honored to play a very small part in that future by helping restore lives, strengthen families, and build healthier communities. On behalf of the board of directors, our volunteers, and especially the men, women, and children whose names you may never know, but whose lives have been forever changed, thank you for allowing us a little bit of time with your evening.
Thank you.
The measure of a community is not found only in buildings that we construct or roads we pave. It is found in how we care for those who are hurting, protect those who are vulnerable, and help protect the planet. Thank you. God bless each and every one of you. Bless Pickens County, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up. I'm able to hear him. Bonnie, you won't need a microphone, will you? Do you need a microphone? No. So our second guest speaker tonight is Bonnie Hiltner. She's from the Pickens County Cattlemen's Association. She's going to tell us a little bit about the Tri-State Ag Expo on July 15th and 16th at Garrison Center.
Chairman, Council, thank you for having us. Tri-State Ag Expo will be held July 15th and 16th at the T.Ed Garrison Arena Complex. Of what we'll have to offer. We'll have all kinds of farm equipment, whether you like John Deere, Kubota, or Case IH. We'll have a lot of different equipment there for you. Also, we'll have pull-type spreaders in various sizes of trailers, from dump trailers to flatbeds, big and small. Hardy Bush Hogs will be there from Lawrence, South Carolina. We'll have Coyote and McCormick tractors from Dixon Tractor. The Fuel Trailer Company in Chapin will be with us. And one of our vendors is coming all the way from Oregon to show us his backup cameras. And Mushroom Mountain from right over in Easley will be back with us again this year. If you're going to buy some of this equipment, you might want to talk to Peach State or Ag South, and they'll be glad to help you with your financing. And if you're going to finance something, you'll need to have insurance. So you might want to contact the Farm Bureau for that. The NRCS will have folks for you to talk about grant money for installing your fencing. The South Carolina Cattlemen's Association and the South Carolina Beef Council are great resources for you to take advantage of if you have cattle. And if you have cattle, you're going to need cattle handling equipment, and we will have plenty to choose from. The South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture at John D. LaHalle is helping us prepare for the next generation of farmers. Remember, no farmers, no food. The Forage and Grazing Lands Coalition will help you get the most out of your pastures. Clemson Livestock Poultry Health will be here from Columbia, and that's where our state veterinarian is located. Both days will have breakout sessions conducted by experts from the Clemson Cooperative Extension, and they'll have topics ranging from grazing for goats to pond management to food preservation to gardening and raising poultry. And we'll have a kids corner run by students from the FFA with coloring books and pedal tractors for the kids to ride. We will also have a shuttle service from the parking lots provided by the Block and Bridle Club. We appreciate the support of the South Carolina Department of Agriculture and Commissioner Hugh Weathers. This is the only Ag Expo in South Carolina, so we hope you'll join us. And remember, agriculture is the largest industry in this state, not Boeing, not BMW, not tourism, agriculture. Remember where your food comes from. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, my lovely assistant has flyers for
Here you go.
the expo if anyone is interested.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Bob.
Mr. Chairman and members of council, we have 10 speakers signed up for public forum. I call Josh Medlin.
Good evening. I'm gonna leave it at this pedestal right here. Good evening. Let's talk taxes. If one doesn't use their property for bona fide agricultural use, they need to be in the higher tax bracket. The good old boy system isn't working too well. Fish Trout Road area where we're going to be putting up warehouses classified as agricultural land. I haven't seen, you may have heard this before, horse, cow, goat, donkey, corn stalks, or timber companies on that land except for cutting down trees and creating a fire hazard for the 30-plus years that I've been around there. All that land that surrounds that old racetrack is probably labeled as agriculture use. All that tax money is gone, not able to use it, at least not the county can't use that money. Speaking of Fish Trout Road, not too long ago, a few was in agreement that you don't want to tell a landowner what they can and can't do with their land. When one councilman mentioned an overlay or making it historic, this is where hypocrisy comes into play, but an overlay over the lakes is exactly that, telling people what they can and can't do with their land. All that water comes in from somewhere, have to protect it further up north than just the lakes. If one owned a strip of land that was covered with trees and within, I think y'all said 1,300 feet it's going to be of the shoreline, they would have to get a permit to poop in the woods. Are people going to be able to cut their grass within 1,300 feet of the shoreline without getting a permit? 1,300 feet is going to require local government officials to approve a lot of things. I guess there goes telling someone what they can and can't do with their land again. Speaking of this subject, it reminds me that the USDO, I think that's the abbreviation for the book y'all go by, needs to be thrown away. It's only used as needed, more to that later. The Planning Commission, I done a FOIA request, and I saw no applications from 3 of the 4 new people that's on the commission, and no applications from 1 that put in for the PC but didn't get it. As you like to say, Alex, that's not my district. Neither is it Peter's. He could say it 2 ways. Also, you can say he is hypocritical too. Doesn't want cookie cutter houses built next to him, but is going. Doesn't want cookie cutter houses built next to him, but is going to say yes to cookie cutter houses built next to someone else. 3 of the 4 have no more than 15 years combined living in Pickens County. That's the kind of leadership Pickens County needs leading us into the future. Northern and California style leadership need to leave that where it came from. Picking these to be part of the PC, they all but one came out of the club that could be known as something in the nature of the Pickens County Republican Party. I didn't finish, but thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I call Kevin Dennis.
Thank you, County Council, for letting me speak here today. I grew up in Pickens County on Newton Avenue and have lived there my entire life except for a short time that I lived in Spartanburg County while I went to college. And just off of Newton Avenue is a road called Camellia Lane that has been known for being a trailer park for most of the time that I was growing up in Newton Avenue. When I was growing up, it was a constant crime area because of that trailer park, peaking in the early 2000s. After that, the trailer park was shut down, all the old trailers removed, and the land was left vacant for probably about 20 years now. During that time, the crime rate around Newton Avenue, Cedar Rock Street, and everything around it went down significantly. I'm blessed to be able to raise my children on the same street that I grew up on, close to family, close to friends, and in an area that I call home. But now, that trailer park is being rebuilt. There are currently 6 trailers slated to go in there of low rent housing that we feel is going to negatively impact our area and our community around there. We had to call the sheriff's office down about 2 months ago for another incident, and I said, what's going on with that trailer that's been sitting there vacant for a year? And he said, that trailer's not vacant, there's homeless living there. And that's a concern to me as a father. That's a concern to my father as a grandfather. My wife is a stay-at-home mom. I work outside the home. We're blessed for her to be able to stay home with our 2 boys who are under 2 years of age. And we are very concerned about the crimes that were committed there in the early 2000s specifically. It was a meth capital. That was known to Pickens County Sheriff's Office at the time. It is currently just dilapidated. The newest mobile home that has been put in there is 1976 year, which is the last year possible that they can be transported under South Carolina state law. So we're very concerned about this. The articles coming out of this very room are talking about worries about funding our sheriff's office, worries about being able to give pay raises to deputies. The tax revenue that would be brought in by these mobile homes, I feel, will only tax that further because we will not have the tax revenue to support the extra deputies and the extra drug officers that will be needed to police that area. The average response time for Pickens County Sheriff's Office to my house is 15 to 20 minutes. Think about that for a minute when there's homeless living next to a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old and a stay-at-home mom. 15 to 20 minutes is a lifetime for them. I would like Pickens County to look into what to do about this Camellia Lane situation, how to regulate who's going in there, if that's even possible, and maybe even consider pulling some of these permits if necessary, because there's 6 mobile homes slated to go onto this Camellia Lane that's not more than 100, maybe 150 yards long. So thank you for your time.
I call Delmar Dennis.
Thank you all for listening to me and having me here. I appreciate everything you folks do. I'm a lifetime resident of Pickens County. I love it here. This is my son. It's all the same subject he's talked about. I grew up in the same place my whole life, 76 years, there on Newton Avenue. During my childhood, it was really a good place to live, a nice place to live, crime-free, drug-free. Anyway, after they moved in this trailer park and opened it years ago, everything went downhill. Everything I had that could be stolen was stolen. We had constant traffic up and down this 1-lane road, people speeding all hours of the night and day. As my son said, it was known as a drug haven and theft haven. So I'm just wish there's something we could do about this. If nothing else, maybe have the county police patrol it more once this thing reopens. If it has to reopen, if there's any way to keep it from it, I'll sure back it, do anything I can. Like I said, it's the last 10 years or more since they've closed it down. It's been like it was in my childhood. This place is just close to the Doodle Trail, no more than a quarter mile from there. It's just been nice since it's been closed down. It's been really nice, really good. And I love it here in Pickens, and I just don't want to see it change back like it was. So if there's anything I can do or anything you folks can do to help this situation, certainly appreciate it. Again, my name is Dean Dennis, I live in Pickens all my life, and I love it here.
I call Rick Huffman.
Thank you, council, for the opportunity to speak on the overlay district proposal that's been proposed. I'm Rick Huffman. I'm a resident of Pickens County. I'm a retired owner of a landscape architecture firm and an expert on watershed, stormwater runoff, and the science of life at the water's edge. The book I helped co-author, Life at the Water's Edge, was a national resource publication of the year in 2006. I'm also founder of the current upstate chapter of the South Carolina Native Plant Society, and I currently serve on the Saluda River Basin Council for the last 3 years. I rise and support the overlay draft, which places the highest level of protection on the Lake Kiwi and Jocassee, the jewels of Pickens County. Lake Kiwi is no longer just a recreational lake. It is also a drinking water source. And as a drinking water source in an unregulated watershed, impacts on water quality enter the lake from 1,000 points of sources. The Greenville County watershed is 100% protected. Let watershed science guide and inform the process. The decision to limit or exclude industrial commercial development is a wise move. I feel that through strong regulations and preventive measures are enough to allow not enough to allow restaurants, hotels, dry cleaning, boat storage, to name a few industries, and developments to occur safely. It is a slippery slope, and once allowed, where does it stop? The watershed is already under immense pressure. Just go on Lake Kiwi any day of the week. By allowing commercial watershed enhanced developments, you will not be able to control pollutants from entering the water, no matter how strong you write the language and who is going to enforce it. When big money can simply pay a fine or ignore the legal remedies or rules. Arabella Farms is a prime example of a development that ignored and caused irreparable harm to the Eastatoe and Kiwi. The Eastatoe is forever compromised. I encourage, and champion the council to place the highest levels of protection on these precious resources. The residents of Pickens County have voiced strong opposition to water enhanced categories of development while still supporting residential development to continue with better rules to protect the water quality and public drinking water. I'm in support of Pickens County's council staff and recognizing the issues and taking a strong stance for water quality, scenic values, and wildlife. Pickens County is one of the most diverse counties on the planet. Let's keep it that way. Thank you.
I call Terry Jackson.
Good evening. My name is Terry Jackson. I'm president of the Lake Hartwell Association, LHA. And I'm talking to you tonight on behalf of our association. The Lake Hartwell Association represents our members in both Georgia and South Carolina, with the 6 counties that directly adjoin Lake Hartwell for interests that impact the quality, quantity, and safety of our lake. I'm here tonight regarding the proposed ordinance for lake overlay for Lakes Jocassee and Kiwi. My reason for coming to you tonight is not for questions or challenges to any of the details of the proposed lake overlay. LHA applauds the vision and the leadership of council in trying to protect our resources such as Lakes Kiwi and Jocassee. Rather, my question and request is, why isn't Lake Hartwell considered in this overlay also? And we request that this be added to the current proposed overlay or put into a new lake overlay. The overlay suggests concern for Pickens County residents' drinking water, which is very valid. But that very same water that's used for Pickens County flows into Lake Hartwell for the benefits of the residents of those adjoining counties. The proposed ordinance proclamation recognizes these lakes significant regional drinking water and potable water supply for surrounding communities. Please consider your neighboring counties with your concern for healthy drinking water. We all know there are numerous reports and studies that show the major economic impact of all our lakes in this region. That would also include Lake Hartwell and the need to offer the same additional protections at Lake Hartwell that you are proposing for Lakes Kiwi and Jocassee. I would also suggest that within Pickens County, that portion of the lake that includes Lake Hartwell is probably the most significant area of the county relative to economic and developmental growth, population density, not including Clemson, and more importantly, the risks associated with not managing that portion of the county and the lake well. The three lakes cannot and should not be isolated on matters such as the lake overlay, as they are all within the upper Savannah River Basin. Lakes Kiwi and Jocassee are part of the headwaters of the upper Savannah River Basin that directly flow into Lake Hartwell and all the way to the Savannah Harbor. So why would Lake Hartwell not be included in a lake overlay that is very much part of the upper Savannah River Basin, as are both Lakes Kiwi and Jocassee? I've communicated this with councilpersons Linville and Lawless, and I believe they support our request. The ordinance proclamations state that the importance of Lake Kiwi and Jocassee from the economics, tourism, environmental quality, and attraction of visitors from South Carolina and other states. In a study this year released to Travel and Leisure, Lake Hartwell ranked the #3 cleanest lake in the nation. Not Lake Kiwi, not Lake Jocassee, Lake Hartwell. Please help us maintain the cleanliness of our lake by showing us, our members in the neighboring states, counties, and towns that Lake Hartwell is as important to Pickens County as Lakes Kiwi and Jocassee by including Lake Hartwell for lake overlay ordinance consideration. Thank you.
I call Tom Geisler.
Thank you for this chance to talk to you folks. Appreciate all the work you do. And I know you do a lot of research to make your decisions. My concern is with the overlay too. I don't think we should allow any heavy and light commercial work being done on the lake. I have a similar experience with a lake that's similar to Kiwi in the Lake of the Ozarks, but it's twice as big. The Lake of the Ozarks has 1,150 miles of shoreline. It's 92 miles long, and the maximum depth is 130 feet. This thing has grown like it's out of control. There are 250 bars and restaurants there, and they will do poker runs and all that stuff to where my son sold his place he had there. He had a dealership there too, selling boats. He would recommend that people buy 28 footers because there's so much wake and so much disruption. Anyway, it's something that we have to tread lightly. I do not want anything to happen that lake. It's really sacred. So please consider the overlay. We don't want to change the culture of that lake and the community here. Thank you.
I call Martha Summers.
Hi all, how you doing tonight? I want to say thanks to all of you for your service that you do. It's not an easy task. Having said there. First of all, I'd like to recount two personal anecdotes. My husband and I have been fishing the big three, Hartwell, Kiwi, and Jocassee, since about 2009. We've never thought twice about eating the fish that we catch. And yeah, we're fortunate to actually catch fish in Kiwi. And I applaud Council Linville for pushing to have Hartwell added to the list. However, eating the fish out of these lakes, we've started to really question because of the things that we've been reading as we research the issues of the overlay. So that's a concern. My second anecdote is my father's family is from Syracuse, New York, and I've long had an association with one of the Finger Lakes, Skinny Atlas Lake. 16 miles long, 300 feet deep, gorgeous, clean lake reservoir for city of Syracuse. My dad's grandparents put a campsite on the lake in the 1890s. I've been privileged almost every summer of my life to spend a week there. It's been wonderful, but I can tell you when I was a kid, you used to just walk into that lake without thinking. Today, if you don't go in with a thick water shoe, you run the risk of slicing your feet open with zebra mussels, which have come into the lake. and have been fed through a lot of the phosphates and so on that have been a problem. The other major thing that I've been involved with up there is an effort to eradicate milfoil, which has also come into the lake in just the last 20 years. Never used to see it when I was a kid. You could go out on a canoe, look down 70 feet, and you could see the bottom of the lake. Now there are big patches of milfoil, which not only wreaks havoc with the boat motors, but it also sucks the oxygen out of the lake, and that hurts the fish species. So we have a crew of volunteers and scuba men who go out every spring and summer and put down mats. And we're talking mats the size of half a football field. And put these down trying to cut off the sunlight, kill these invasive species of milfoil. And lastly, there are the carp. We never used to see carp when I was a kid. And somewhere in the last 20 to 30 years now, you're seeing an invasion of carp, which are also eating the native species. And the carp, they're 3-4 feet long. They're huge. You can't miss them. So all of these things, all of these effects on these 4 lakes really, have been in just the last 20 years. And it has coincided with increasing development on all of the lakes as well. And so my last thought for you folks is that if whatever is done here this year or whenever you make your decisions, it can't be undone. If the limits are too short and people go in and develop,
Thank you very much.
there's no going back.
Thank you.
We're done.
Yeah, there's no balance.
I call Connie Johnson.
Good evening. I wanted to make note, I heard recently that the racetrack group stopped coming up here, so we must be somewhat happy with what's going on. And I just kind of wanted to set the record straight. We're not a single bit happy about how this council picks and chooses what they want to do and who they want to help. For example, the lake overlay, Lake Hartwell keeps getting brought up to be included in the overlay, and that's great. But what about the Saluda? The Saluda provides drinking water to over 500,000 residents across South Carolina and goes far beyond Pickens County. We've all seen the research that's been posted. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing, looking out there. And we see how critical these water sources are to residents, yet we're picking and choosing which ones get to be included in this overlay and what's worthy based off of what. When we question those things, we get the statements of, that's not my district. Instead of doing the right thing and looking into it, we just get, oh, well, that's not my district. And it's like a bunch of finger pointing back and forth. It's clear to see that our county is divided on a multitude of issues. Multiple rules or ordinances are not being followed and are continuously questioned by the residents. Every month, a new divide comes to light and the community wedge rises between the divide of the rich and the poor. Why aren't we not fixing what is broken? We should be focused on enforcing the rules and ordinances we have now and not creating a bunch of new ones with the bandwidth that the county already has proven is incapable of handling. If true enforcement was maintained, there would be no need to create more mess and work for individuals. This is a mess someone is going to come in and clean up 2 years from now when the county votes on a new council. I would also like to remind the council that you guys said that you would help the new owner if the racetrack was able to be purchased, and nobody up here would do anything to prohibit it or hinder it. So I hope you plan on standing by your words. And I would also like to end by saying any movement in protecting the racetrack has been carried out on the back of the group trying to do the right thing. The right thing by our history, the right thing by our community, and the right thing for our future.
I call Sharon Riley.
Council, Chair. My name is Sharon Riley. I live in Pickens County. I'm a former South Carolina vulnerable adult guardian ad litem. I'm a current silver-haired legislator. And Wednesday, we are going to have a meeting in Columbia about deed theft. There's currently a bill being moved through the legislature at this time. It's Bill 822. And it has come to my attention that if there's going to be any change in Pickens County, it's going to happen in Pickens County. Now, North Carolina every county has a program so that citizens can sign up and be warned if anybody's attempting to do anything with their deed. That's North Carolina. Georgia also has county programs, and in the upstate, Greenville County has a rather robust program. Anderson has a program, and Oconee has a program. Pickens County has no program. I spoke with the Registrar of Deeds and was told that it's kind of pointless to have people sign up for something that the county has to pay for when there doesn't seem to be a need for it. I'd like to point out that there is a need for it. If you just look at the news from New York to Florida, that's just the East Coast, there are just increases in deed theft. And the people most at risk are homeowners who don't have a mortgage, anybody who has paid off their property, the elderly, and probably the people who don't have any neighbors or friends close to them that is aware of their property, because the property the deed can be transferred without them even knowing. But my reason for coming here is the bill that's in the legislature is going to address this at the state level. The governor's going to sign it, but it does not address Pickens County. So my question to you is, what is Pickens County prepared to do to protect its property owners? If Greenville County can do it, and Anderson County can do it, and Oconee County can do it, and all of North Carolina can do it, Georgia can do it, why can't Pickens County do it?
Thank you.
I call Ty Thornhill.
Hello, Ben. Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate you guys doing this. Not everybody everywhere does it. And, it's a privilege, so thank you for letting us come speak about my favorite thing, which is, of course, as you know, the Greenville Pickens Speedway. But there's a couple things that kind of have come up this week that I thought were really interesting as related to that. I want to talk about ordinances 688 and 689, which I know you're not going to talk about tonight. Just some things I want you to think about as we go forward in the next two readings, because it appears that they represent sort of a backdoor attempt to legislate the historic Greenville Pickens Speedway out of existence, should it survive this most recent challenges coming up. That's us buying it. So, should that happen, it seems to me like there's a lot of things in 688 and 689 that are specifically oriented, given this in like the 4th district, and given that a lot of the things that are written in there would specifically have to do with the track, given that it's the only enterprise level sports arena complex in the county. So I think a lot of those things may be sort of backstops, so that if we do get the thing in our possession, then you can hold the leverage over us to stop that. Just a guess. I'm a conspiracy theorist. There may be a witch trial somewhere, but it just seems like that's the case to me. So, I think the time is perfect for us. Just a little update on what we've been doing in the past few weeks. Things seem to be really falling into place. Timing's great. We got the House bill, the Right to Race bill, which I think is great. So if we're able to pull this thing off, the Right to Race Act, House 4706 explicitly grants sweeping nuisance immunity to established motorsports venues against local noise and traffic ordinances, and under the way that they described established, we would qualify. So, so any attempt to use 688 or 689 to penalize that operation wouldn't just be a disservice to the heritage of the place, but it would be a direct violation of state law. So just wanted to kind of get that out there before we go too far down the road of that. So it's something to think about as you're doing first reading. I feel like at this point, I kind of feel like if this is true, and I don't know if it's true or not, you guys can say whatever you want, I'll believe you. It just seems like there's so much hate for the track on that side of the desk that things seem to not be really what they are. I mean, it's kind of like everything's working out except for this, for us putting the thing together. For example, for no reason whatsoever, the developer did a grossly unacceptable traffic study for phases 3, 4, and 5, which was mandated, had to be in, as far as everyone knew. You would have to break your own rule to have them not do the traffic study. We had tons of reasons to turn them down and say, don't let the track save it. But he just gave us it on a silver platter. He just didn't do the traffic study when we asked it to be redone. My dog ate it. I didn't do my homework, whatever he did. He just ignored the commission's request. That's a reason to turn it down. The one that he did turn in had errors of fact. It had math errors. It had wrong data in it that would have caused serious safety violations. And I can show that. I actually pointed them out in a memo to you guys. So anyway, everything seems to be working out except for whatever's happening that kind of gets in the way every time we see the things.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Mr. Chairman and members of council, this concludes the public forum for this evening.
Thank you very much, all. Okay, next item up is the approval of the minutes. I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes of June 1st, June 15th, and 29th. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion on those minutes? Those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign, passes unanimously. Next up is the administrative report. Mr. Roper, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to update you on a few things that are going on in day-to-day operations of the county. First, I want to let you all know something that this community knows, and I believe, Dr. Holloway, this will be in your district, in the Croswell Fire District, Old Forest Road. Old Forest Road is a one-road-in subdivision that predates our DSO. So it's got a one-way in, and the culvert pipe, we believe, is going to fail. So it's time for us to replace that culvert pipe. But when we do that, and we've done this in several others, those at Stonewall, Plantation, Blue Ridge, Pond, Rocky Bottom, Aaron, Spring Valley, and War Branch have experience with this. There comes a period of time for us to replace it. We have to close the road, but we're recognizing that those citizens are going to need fire, EMS, police protection. They're also going to need to be able to get out back to work. And so we've come up with a system that we use where we basically build a temporary way in and out. We do scheduled side-by-side UTV trips for the residents and park their cars on the other side. We stage a fire truck inside. We've got this system down pretty well. But one of the things you have to do is you have to communicate with that community early and often. And so we've had a community meeting with the folks on Old Forest Road that live down in that subdivision. They're not excited about it, but they certainly do understand it. As Jamie Reynolds with Roads and Bridges put it, we want to schedule this in advance. We want to plan for it in advance. We don't want to wait till a storm hits and it happens without our plan. So I just wanted to let you all know that our Roads and Bridges folks are going to begin mobilizing, doing that this month. People on Old Forest Road will see our workers out there marking, planning, measuring, and then in the first week of August, the road will go down to one lane, and some people should expect some traffic delays. The second week of August, there's 5 days when we'll have that road closed, and we will replace the 8-foot by 8-foot culvert. So we'll get that in the ground, get it replaced, put gravel back on it, allow the citizens to use it as normal until we can get the final coat of asphalt on it. But it's a program that we've used again and again and again around the county. But we do appreciate the folks at Old Forest Road and the patience for what they're going to have to go through to make sure that they've got a good, resilient roadway. The other thing I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight is I appreciated the goals setting session that we had last meeting. Each of you came up with various goals. You allowed me to set 3 goals as well for the county from the administration standpoint. And I can tell you that this is very well received by staff. When staff knows where y'all want to go, we feel really good about it. And my staff has already started reaching out to me without me prompting with ideas for several of the items that you have on the list. So I just want to let you know how effective we see that as a staff. when you as the people with the vision and you as the people that represent the public give us that feedback and say, these are the important items we want to work at. And we've already started on those. As you know, some of you mentioned making our UDSO and our planning commission process more transparent. So I want to advise you tonight of one change we've made just because we considered it something that the public had asked for and we had heard them. Also, many of you have asked. The question becomes, because there's an ambiguity in the UDSO of when the traffic study that is required is done. The Planning Commission believed in some parts that that needed to be done prior to the Planning Commission. Staff believed that it needed to be done at the development permit phase, which is after the Planning Commission. And this created this friction where everyone basically was misunderstanding what each other's roles were. So listening to the public on that, listening to you all, what we've decided until you all can revisit the underlying language, we're going to take a two-step approach here. And what we're going to do is during our, what we used to call our pre-app meeting, where we sit down with a developer and all of our staff and talk about all the rules. Instead, we're going to rename that a joint technical review committee because we think it fits better. And then in that joint technical review committee, we're going to give them the technical requirements of the things that need to be done for their development. But one of the things is we're going to give them from the county engineer a scope for the traffic study that we expect. And they will see that, and at that stage, they will have to acknowledge the scope of this traffic study. The problem that we've gotten in the past is people come in wanting to do small developments, big projects, little projects. They don't know if they can commit to a gigantic traffic study up front. But this way, once we've given the scoping sheet, the Planning Commission will have the peace of mind of knowing, oh, they're requiring the developer to look at these roads and these issues. And then they can add conditions as they see fit. We'll make the developer then agree to the traffic mitigation commitment letter. Basically, they will agree to meet whatever the results of that traffic study are. And then after the Planning Commission, assuming they approve with a conditional approval, then the engineering review will happen. So what we think this will do, and I know this is going to be a little different for us all, but it will allow the Planning Commission to know in advance what our expectations are going to be as a staff. We think that's going to help. I know you all have set as goals, some of you, to revisit the UDSO and the way that the Planning Commission and county staff interact. But in the meantime, we're going to do this just to try to give the Planning Commission peace of mind. We always want to listen for other better ideas, but that's what we're going to try to do there. One of the things that I set as a goal for me, for the administration, in fact, it's my #1 goal, is to address many of the concerns you've heard over the last few weeks about pay equity, about pay promotion, about incentive pay for education and advancement, about pay of supervisors and their subordinates. And so one of the things I asked last month that you all supported, thank you very much, was funding in this fiscal year a revisit of our salary study. We're doing this a little early, but I wanted to let you know we're already in discussions with Evergreen. I've already signed the contract to do this study. They've already had the kickoff meeting. We're getting this process underway. And while we know that this will take several weeks to conclude, we are excited about it, and we hope it's going to give you a range of options to address pay. Now, with that being said, I've done a little research on my end. This council approved 6% total in between cost of living and step increase. I cannot find another public jurisdiction in South Carolina that did that. The state's trying to do 2. I've seen several counties that do 3.5, a city that's done 4, 2.5, 3.5. That seems to be where the market is going right now. And so on behalf of county staff, I just want to say thank you. 6% is a huge step forward, and we think it'll help us in this study. Many of my employees, and I'm sure many of the other employees out there, are anxious to see when this new paycheck comes in. So it comes up in answering another question. And that is a payroll schedule adjustment that happened just a couple of weeks back. You may have heard reference to this in the last public forum last month, but I want to take a moment to step through this and first describe to you what the problem was that we were addressing. Our finance department, as you have heard from the auditors, is smaller than usual. Our staff continues to grow. We have 750 some odd employees, Their timesheets are due one day, and then their deposit into their bank account is 5 days later. Now, that window means not that we have to pay them within 5 days, just our schedule means we have to have all of their pay information uploaded and ready for the bank in 2 days, because we have to have it to the bank on Tuesday if it's going to hit your account on Friday. This caused our finance department to have to work overtime on weekends, on holidays. There was just really no relief for them, and we felt like it opened us up for the potential of mistakes. It opened us up for the potential to pay people the wrong amounts, to not give them the credit that they had earned, and also it opened us up to fraud because we were having to do this remotely. County offices were closed. So we were looking at different ways to try to resolve this, and what we came up with is county employees are paid 26 times a year, every 2 weeks. 26 is not easily divisible by 12, so that means twice a month you get 3 paychecks. Most months you just get 2. So what we determined to do to try to ease the blow, that third paycheck doesn't have subtractions out for things like insurance that are billed bi-monthly. So it's usually a slightly larger check. What we determined to do is to, for the month where you receive that third paycheck, adjust our pay schedule. So we communicated this with county employees starting back prior to the spring this year, had meetings with our appointed and elected officials. We had meetings with our supervisors and our department heads. We sent emails, a formal letter that each employee had to acknowledge in ESS, in our electronic system, communicating to them that that third paycheck in May is only going to be for 1 week. And then we'll pick back up with the 2 weeks again as per usual. Sorry to take a little time on this, but it's going to be important. So I want to show you that adjustment. If you look at the 2 green blocks on the left, work week 427 to 5/3 and work week 5/4 to 5/10, that was paid as per usual. You'll notice 5/10, it was paid on 5/15. So that's the quick turnaround we're talking about. For work week that you worked 5/11 through 5/17, that paycheck issued on 5/29. But you see, that's the third paycheck you got that month because it's on 5/29. So it was for just that 1 work week. Then the week you worked 5/18 through 5/31, those 2 weeks, that payday came out on 6/12. And you see the difference between 5/31 and 6/12? What we've basically done is built in time for finance to make sure that our paychecks are accurate and to eliminate the potential for folks having to work through the weekend to get payroll to our important employees. So from that point forward, your paycheck comes every 2 weeks as per usual, and you're paid for 2 and 3 weeks ago. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so when you look at that, look at the second green box. They were paid, their work stops on 5/10, they were paid on the 15th, right?
That's correct.
That was a 5-day lag.
Yes.
Then when you go look at, you can see the change for 5/25, 20/31, which is that 4th green box. It's not 5 days, it's 13 days later.
That's right.
So you're getting paid for all those weeks. They're just going from a 5-day differential from when you last worked to a 13-day.
That's
Give
correct.
people extra time.
That's correct.
So what I heard a lot was that this 1 week was not being paid to employees and being held to when they leave in some separate account. None of that's true.
No, you're still being paid within 2 weeks from time to work. We're just adjusting it to a more manageable rate. And I'll tell you, the feedback we got from the department heads, from the elected officials, was acknowledgement that this pay turnaround was abnormally quick for a lot of entities our size. I don't know what they said to their employees, but I do know that that's what they communicated back to us. And as we went through it, we communicated in multiple ways. If folks needed assistance to reach out to us, we tried to let them plan well in advance. And we're now past that, and we're back on the regular, every 2 weeks you get paid 2 weeks. So we appreciate the county employees being patient with us through that process. It's going to make our payroll process more resilient and less prone to potential fraud and error. So it's an important thing for us to do. The reason that it's important to talk about tonight is that you all passed that incredible and welcomed cost of living adjustment. So the question logically arises, when will they see that in their paycheck? And we actually have that answer. The 2 weeks that you got paid, that you get paid for this Friday are before the paycheck, the pay raise took effect. You'll see that that's for work week 615 and work week 622. So you'll get your normal old paycheck on July the 10th. The work week from 629 to 712, will be the paycheck you get on 724 that'll include the raise. So we just want to make sure, and we're trying to over communicate on this issue, that we're not going to forget your pay raise. It's just the check you get on this Friday is for the very end of last fiscal year. I hope that is helpful. I hope that it helps county employees as they look at it. We'll continue to try to work with people that have difficult situations. But we feel like in the long term, this was an important step to take. Mr. Chairman, that's all I've prepared for tonight. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Council.
Mr. Rover, the lady that spoke about the deed bill, whatnot, I addressed you about that before. There's got to be something we can do.
Yeah, and Destiny and I, Ms. Pratt and I were talking, because we're not familiar with the systems that maybe Anderson and Oconee. The proposal we've received in the past is just another, it's basically an insurance product. So it wouldn't prevent really anything. It's the proposal we've received in the past. It would just provide insurance for what is an incredibly unlikely event. So what we've told people in the past, and the Register of Deeds is probably trying to say this as well, is you can check your deed online every day. It's there. You can check it and you can see that nothing's changed on it. But if there's a process out there through our software vendor or else otherwise that we might could do some type of auto notifications, we're going to research that and report back.
I would think if we're the steward of that information, though, some responsibility does fall on us to make sure that doesn't happen.
I will tell you that the technology for doing that has existed since, I don't mean to sound lighthearted about this because it's a very serious issue, but it is a forgery is what we're talking about. So a forgery can happen electronically, it can happen physically, and it's always been that way. We're going to look at it hard and come back to y'all with some recommendations. We have not seen a recommendation from the private sector that did anything other than just charge you for an insurance policy. So we'll keep researching.
Can we check with the surrounding counties and investigate that?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. With our state legislators having not passed a budget, there was some information coming out about delayed paycheck or delayed payments coming in. Are we expecting any delay, or is there any frustration or any problems we're anticipating with not having government fund come in or anything like that?
We don't expect any delay on that because they are operating under a continuing resolution. So if it's long-term money that we've been receiving year over year, that's going to continue coming. We do have some earmarks that we were hopeful about that would help some county property and some county projects. And those are not covered by the continuing resolution, as I understand it. So we're hopeful for those. That money would not be available until September anyway. That's the normal funding cycle. So we're hoping the folks in the General Assembly will get that worked out prior to that time.
I have a question, follow-up on the deed. Is there not a program that we can implement that if somebody's deed gets changed, there's an automatic notice or red flag to someone where we contact the owner of that deed and say, hey,
that's it.
Or send a letter or something, whatever it is?
The answer is that that does happen in one way already, in that a new letter goes with the deed to the purchaser. So that doesn't help the seller,
Right.
but there's already a letter that's automatically generated. What we've got to look at is if that's something we could do, because you have to recognize these are hundreds and hundreds of transactions a week. So what would be the staff cost of that? Or is there another system that we're just not aware of? As I've told you, when it's come to in the past, it's really just been an insurance product. And so we want to do some research and come back with y'all some good alternatives.
I think, yeah, that's something we might want to take a look at, especially to help out our elderly.
I do know that Anderson County has implemented, you have to actually set up an account with ArcPass, because I have to do that with my work with.
So you have to sign up for it? Yeah.
And you have to set up an account with a password to access their assessment.
We'll get details on that. Thank you.
One of the things I would do is I'd first talk to the registered deeds and see how often it happens and how does it happen? Like, I mean, I buy and sell real estate. I mean, you'd have to go into an attorney's office and basically sign somebody else's name. I mean, that's one way to do it. But are they doing it any other way? I mean, I'd like to see how it's being done. Just
We'll
to
try
see
to
if
find
it's
some
something we can.
examples. We'll try to find that as well. It's not something that happens with any regularity or that we've seen.
It's fraudulent signatures.
The other thing is Newton Avenue's off of Ireland Road, right? Okay, give your.
No, it's off Cedar Rock Street.
I was gonna ask, is that city or county?
It's actually it's almost a donut hole. The city has grown around that area, but they're right, it's still a county portion.
Cedar Avenue is, where is that at?
You're right there between Doodle Park and the nursing home, right?
That's right.
So between the Doodle Park and the nursing home, kind of back, if you know where the canteen gym used to be, it's on that side, right?
I made a note to
Okay.
check the permits that have been pulled.
So
in that
it's
area.
called Newton Avenue?
Camellia Lane.
Okay.
Camellia Lane is what I have.
So that's just outside the city of Pickens. Okay, just give your contact information to the state. All members of the planning commission filled out applications. By the way. That was, we all saw those applications. I have a question for you. Is anyone else getting complaints about the audio in these meetings?
Yes, all the time.
Okay, anyone else?
Real quick, I just,
Couple times.
sorry, real quick for a question. Is there anything-
No, do you get complaints about the audio in these meetings? No? Because I think there's two complaints I'm getting. One is, inside the conference room, there doesn't seem to be a PA in there like there is in here. So when we talk into these mics, I guess it's echoed out of some speakers somewhere. But in the conference room, that doesn't happen, so people in the back don't hear often, there's a full crowd. And then also, I think it's hard for people to hear on YouTube sometimes. And I don't know if it's the bit rate I'm running at, or it's the actual audio itself.
Yeah, those two different issues there. The conference room, we've talked about maybe live streaming right outside. The problem is that room, the way that it is, if we put a lot of audio in that room, it's just feedback. So we struggle with that, and we thought about maybe trying to run the live stream on the television right outside, and so people, if they're having trouble hearing, they could step out of here. The issue with the YouTube feed, honestly, has bedeviled us from before me. And I think a lot of it ends up being just, there's so many variables on the end user's side. But we think we've done everything to optimize it for the YouTube feed. It's just not always reliable, unfortunately. But we'll continue to look at it, and we talked to IT this morning because I've heard some of these concerns. I talked to IT about that just this morning. They were going to look at both processes to see if there's another solution.
Biggest complaint I hear from people, my wife included, who lets me know while it's going on. I can't hear you. If we lean back or if we turn our head, can't hear you.
Yeah, I'll tell you, in this room, we've got everything just about maxed. And so if we turn it up a little more, that mic is going to feed back the whole room. So what I would ask you to do on your end is hug up to those mics a little closer if you can. If you need a lapel mic like I wear, we've got some of those. We want to work with you because your constituents need to hear from you. But we continue to struggle with that. These rooms weren't built with acoustics in mind, as you can see with this one.
Any other questions?
I have one. You mentioned traffic studies. It just made me think. You've mentioned complaints about audio, but the Brown Drive there in Easley, I understand that there's a subdivision that looking to be developed in Anderson County.
Yes, sir.
And that's a whole different ball of wax, if you will. But they're discussing cutting a road from the Pickens County side, which would, while they may not be developing on property that's in Pickens County, it would have the same impact as if they were. So in our ordinance and in our overlay and in all of our things, the traffic study is important because you have to do the upgrades, you have to do, it's not telling people they can't build on their land, it's telling people what they have to do in order to be able to build on their land. What do we have in place? What kind of agreements do we have or can we have with Anderson County? And any direction there?
Well, I'm glad you raised this point because it's something we talked about internally. And believe that it might be good for us to bring you a resolution to pass. And the specific language we would bring to you would be that if you, jurisdiction other than Pickens County, want to do a development that does not comply with our rules, you better have a road other than a county road to make it happen. So we feel like we need to get that in a resolution, but for the developers to not be able to build the subdivision they want in Pickens County, so they move it a few yards down the road, and that tax base goes to Anderson County, but the traffic impacts all come to us, is just a gross injustice. So we're not going to process any type of encroachment permit on that until you all have had an opportunity to study that process. It's an important point.
So you will not approve it?
We will not approve that encroachment permit.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to take a minute and say, so the sheriff's office just left, but for anyone who was in Clemson 2 weekends ago for the Morgan Wallen concert, that was just an incredible example of cooperation around this county. We had almost every municipality, I think, had sheriffs, had police there. Pickens County Sheriff's Office was there. The medical helicopter was there. The EMT teams were all over. They ended up setting up cooling buses. They had an incredibly high number of EMS calls, but it went very smoothly. And that kind of event, you know, we get a lot of blame on Clemson doing that and taxing all that, but when you look at it, the amount of ATAX dollars that that event is going to flood into this county for next year that gets to be directly put back into tourism and help efforts for this county is really good for us. So I just am very appreciative that that kind of giant event can happen in our small county and that everyone worked together and made it happen and went really well. And I'm excited that we have this way of generating tax and helping out the rest of the county, you know, everybody helping each other. It's a great example of that.
I agree with you, and I'm always heartened when I see vehicles with all those different badges working in conjunction. Yeah. And our sheriff's office does a good job of that. They really do. So does our fire and EMS, and we're very proud of that.
It works. Any other questions on that? Okay, next up is item number 5, committee reports, Roads and Bridges Ad Hoc Committee. Mr. Lawless, what do you got?
Yes, sir. We had our last meeting May the 7th. Roads and Bridges office out on County Farm Road. The three of us, myself, Chairman Sada, and Councilman Bowers, Ken Roper, Rodney Robinson, Jamie Reynolds, Joe County Farm Road property in that complex. We were shown images of the existing layout of the buildings on the site and what they are used for currently. After that, the committee was shown more images and briefed on the administration's ideas for future redevelopment of the complex, including potential locations of a new roads and bridges office and equipment storage areas, potential location of a new vehicle maintenance facility, a new building maintenance facility, and other potential uses for that existing property. Pursuing this would enable the county to move most everything to one centralized location that will be more suitable for each department's uses and would eliminate having county departments and buildings that have a very high flooding potential, such as the Hinkle Jeep Place, during excessive rainfalls. This meeting was advisory only, as there are no definite plans at this time for any immediate development. It was just to serve as an educational opportunity for the committee to get an idea of what administration staff are envisioning to help the council to begin planning for the future. And we're tentatively going to meet again July the 16th because we've been awaiting a revised road paving priority list, and we finally have that in our hands, and we can meet and discuss that.
Any questions from Mr. Wallace? The next item up is going to be council correspondence. Over the next month or so, we're going to meet and look at the third reading of the Lake Kiwi, Lake Jocassee overlay. First reading on the Lake Hartwell overlay. Council Linville and Lawless, they're going to be working on that. I'm assuming you're going to have a couple public meetings and maybe do a survey and kind of examine the current restrictions on there by the Corps of Engineers. And hopefully you'll let us know when you want to have a first reading on that. We're going to address recommendations from the Planning Commission on hotels and solar farm ordinances and changes to the developmental area map for District 4. It's going to be in the Liberty area. A DSO ad hoc committee is going to be meeting. We're going to be discussing items from K Drive points of interest, noise ordinance, and dealing with the concert venue over there when it comes to traffic and trespassing. That's Counselor Holloway's gonna be talking about that. And hopefully, we're gonna have a final meeting on the Roads and Bridges Committee on July 17th and bring a final recommendation to council on that. So any other council correspondence? Okay, next item up is number 7, items and motions for new business. We have 11 new goals, so if there's anything. Okay, next item up is number 8.
Under new business, if I could ask that you add a resolution to our next council meeting that would fall in line with what Mr. Roper was explaining for neighboring jurisdictions.
Second that.
Yeah, that's fine. So you add that to the agenda.
Just to the next agenda.
Okay,
Give you
that's
time to get the verbiage together.
Okay, sounds good. And you support that? That's your area over there, right? Okay. Any questions on that or any discussion on that? Okay, those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Any other new business? Okay, next item, so that's going to be a resolution. So, yes, just remind me about that. We'll talk about that. Okay, next item up is 8A. It's a first reading in title only. Amending the chapter 10 of the county code of ordinances related to noise, traffic, trespassing, and other related issues to public events. I'm going to make a motion to approve item 8A in title only. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion, Mr. Holloway, this is your goal, so give us a preview on what you're working on there.
Yes, like I say, we'll be dealing with some of this with a new ad hoc committee we'll be setting up. There were several concerns that was brought to our attention around a concert venue. And so we're actually gathering information now to start this process up.
Okay, we'll have a first reading on that. Any other discussion on that?
You're gonna take public input on that?
I am.
You are?
Yes.
I think we're going to handle that through that DSO committee.
Yes.
Those are the first 2 items we're going to work on. We'll have to schedule that. I'm all for you being the chairman on that one. We'll have to vote on that officially, so.
Just a question with that. If a venue or somewhere went through planning and all the things appropriately, if we pass or change the ordinance today, does it fall under the new ordinance or the old ordinance? If they were forthwith with what they were doing when they went before planning?
Yeah, if it's been to planning, depending on the approvals that were given in planning, those approvals would be binding to the extent that, it was 1-to-1. If that was the whole plan and that's still the whole plan, then they're going to be vested. I guess I'm answering the legal question. Sorry.
Okay, any other items on, any other questions on item 8A? Okay, those in favor, raise your right hand. First reading on that.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Okay, this is going to be first reading on, title only on chapter 10, noise, traffic, trespassing as it relates to public events.
Future public.
Yeah, future. Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Okay, any other discussion on that? Those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. That's the first reading. It's not fail. You'll get working on that. Next item up is 8B. This is a first reading again in title only, amending developmental areas map. That's the one with all the colors on it. And within Council District 4. So I'm going to make a motion to approve item 8A in title only. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion, Mr. Lane? This is your goal. Give us a preview.
Yeah, you guys, I gave you a little printout there, and basically what I'm doing is I've gotten quite a bit of feedback on the density. It was actually one of the things that I ran on when I got elected, and so we need, yeah, that's the map right there. Sorry, I don't have a slide for that. We'll have it probably for the next meeting, but for those 2 areas, I want to reduce the density in those 2 green areas, basically turn it into the agricultural area for 1 acre.
So you're completely eliminating the concept of a community center area?
Yes. That was the feedback that I've been getting from my constituents, is to reduce the growth in my district, especially at the southern end, to control the growth, which in turn will reduce it. So that's the purpose of my proposal.
Okay, that's first reading in title only. We're gonna have a committee meeting on a work session on that. 20th, you're gonna be discussing that in detail then. You'll be working with staff to present that, and we'll hash that out then. Any other discussion on the first reading of that? Those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. That passes 5-1. The next item up is 9A. It's a second reading, fee in lieu of tax agreement with Project Brothers. This is Mr. Roper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Project Brothers is the code name for this project. It's a privately owned manufacturing company that's planning to construct an approximately 100,000 square foot manufacturing building on a site that's other industrial sites around it. It's not any that you may have heard of related to Realty Link or any of things around the Speedway. It's a different part, but it's in an area that is appropriate. The company will invest approximately $15 million, employ approximately 21 employees. The majority of the jobs will pay between $20 and $30 per hour in advanced metalworking. Tonight's second reading is to approve a fee in lieu of property taxes agreement between Pickens County and Project Brothers. Terms of the fee agreement are basically a 6% assessment ratio over a 20-year term. The fees would generate approximately $4.2 million to Pickens County over the life of the fee. Looks like a good investment in not property the county owns. It's the company that is doing the development owns the land. Basically the way I know to put that.
Any questions from Mr. Roper? Mr. Farley, he's here too. Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve item 9A as presented.
Second.
Second by Council Bowers. Any discussion or questions?
I'm excited about this one. I'm just gonna say that. I'm excited about this one just because of what was and what it's going to be.
What it was, right.
What was it?
It was a lot of nothing.
Okay. Okay, that's a good move in the right direction. Okay. Those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Next item up is item number 10, which is ordinance for third reading, which there's none. The next thing is my favorite part of this meeting is going to be 11A, presentation by Upcountry Fiber and Blue Ridge Cooperative's new president, CEO, Zach Hinton. He's going to tell us a little bit about all the things that Upcountry Fiber did for us. This county, which is, to me, when you look back the last 5 years, amazing. I think what's going to rival it is probably the water plant. Hopefully we'll get built. So it's just amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the council, it's an honor to be here with you tonight. Talk to you about something that's very important to me, something that I've been working on along with Blue Ridge Electric and our partners of West Carolina for over 5 years now. And I'm very appreciative of the partnership that we've had with Pickens County over that time frame, and I'm glad to share with you an update tonight. Just a quick background on me for those of you that may not know me. Again, I'm Zach Hinton. Actually take over as CEO of Blue Ridge in January, and I've had several different roles at the co-op in the 11 years that I've been there. But probably the most important that I have has been this Upcountry Fiber initiative to get connectivity into parts of Pickens County that did not have it. I'm born and raised in Pickens County. I'm a product of Pickens High School. Went to high school, Councilman Bowers, take that for what it is. I live in the Davisville area. I'm a constituent of Councilman Holloway's, and my wife and 2 children and I live up there. I'm very proud to call Pickens County home, which makes this project that much more special. I would also be remiss if I didn't point out, and I try to do this every time that I'm in this chamber, probably the thing I am proudest of is I'm a descendant of a man named Weldon Day, who was the former administrator of Pickens County, whose plaque sits right there as a memento. He was the first county administrator when Pickens County moved from the elected supervisor form of government to the appointed council, the appointed administrator and council form of government. So I'm always proud of my grandfather whenever I see that diploma up there. Just as a quick sort of history lesson, we started this initiative about 5 years ago. We got a lot of feedback from our electric customers and also surrounding areas that there was what we call a digital divide, or a lack of high-speed internet access across the 5 counties that we serve, which is Pickens, Oconee, portions of Anderson, Greenville, and just a little bit of Spartanburg County. So we began to take on a study to see what the co-op could do to help solve this problem. We did some surveys of our electric membership and others, and got an overwhelming response that yes, there was a major need to solve this problem, and that they wanted the co-op involved in it. So we began to figure out how we could do this. Obviously, we're in the electric business. We knew very little about the fiber optic business and the broadband business, so we began to look for a partner, and we were very fortunate to partner with another co-op, a telephone co-op out of Abbeville, South Carolina, called West Carolina Telephone Co-op. And that was important to us because they're very like-minded to us. They're very community-minded, and they put a premium on reliability and customer service. And I think the things that we do well at Blue Ridge is we put a premium on good customer service and reliability of our system. And so we were a great match for each other. And so we started building this project back in 2020. Just a couple of statistics on the impacts we've had in Pickens County since the beginning of that project. So we started that project in collaboration with county council and county staff. After some research with the state broadband office showed us where we needed to start, and that was in the northern part of the county and the very southern part of the county. That represented the 2 areas that had the least amount of service with the most amount of people that could be connected quickly. And so we were off to the races. Pickens County is where we started this entire project, and that is in thanks to county council and county staff and Administrator Roper. And we knocked out 152 miles in 2021, which I can tell you was a lot. But I'm very proud of our team, very proud of our contractors and our partners for getting that done. We currently totally sit a little over 1,300 miles across the county, and we have roughly 38 miles left to build in what I call our initial build-out phase. It doesn't mean that we stop building after that, but as we looked at our initial capital project, we've got roughly 38 miles left to build. That equates to about 1,500 addresses that we can pass. I would be remiss if I didn't stop and take a moment to thank you all here and thank preceding councils for what you did to make this happen. This really was a culmination of a lot of different partnerships. The co-op could not have done it by ourselves, and I can remember back in 2019 and 2020 having conversations with Ken Roper and Ray Farley and others and groups over at the Career Center off Chastain Road. The state broadband office was there, and we're trying to figure out how to tackle this thing. And so out of that birthed conversations of what can the county do to help spearhead this along. And so the county had the vision and foresight to say, well, we can be a customer. We can work on some things. We don't have a ton of money, but the American Infrastructure Act had assigned some dollars to different counties, and broadband deployment was one of the allowable expenses under the American Rescue Act. And so as we began to talk about those type of things along with a fee in lieu, we really figured out, hey, we've got something here that can really spur broadband deployment across Pickens County. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the school district as well. The school district had just built a brand new fiber optic network to connect all of its schools and anchor institutions. And so instead of building a broadband network from scratch from our office in Pickens and deploying it countywide, we were able to tack on places like Dacusville Elementary or Clemson Elementary or Croswell or Chastain Road Elementary School to the old Holly Springs School. I remember Chairman Sain and I going up there and visiting that in the early days of this project. So very appreciative of all involved who really helped us deploy this this quickly. And so as of a symptom of that, we serve the majority of the county facilities across Pickens County, and we define those as anchor institutions, which allow us to turn around and build off of that network in those areas that need it most. Just a couple of quick project highlights in total. We built approximately 289 miles this year in 2026 as we wrap up our initial build out. We currently sit at a little over 4,000 total miles across our 5-county area and just north of 28,000 customers. So those are 28,000 folks that did not have access to high-speed internet that now do, and we're very proud of that number. This is probably my favorite part of the presentation. If you're like me, I'm a visual person. I need to see it and I need to see a picture. I'm like my 5-year-old daughter to understand what we're looking at. So what you're looking at now is this was the end of 2021. We finished our initial phase one build out in Pickens County. You can see we did a good job of getting up in the east of Towhee Valley and some of the neighboring areas in the northern area of Pickens, and then also in the Kateche, Norris central area down in the lower part of the county. And this is what it will look like 5 years later. As you can see, the overwhelming majority of the land mass of the county is served. We're very proud of that map. Just a couple of legends here. Green means it's served. Bright yellow means it's in construction. The tan means that it has been engineered and designed and ready for construction. And those are kind of the main areas. Now, obviously, we don't cover the entire county because there was service here before we got here. And since we started, if we have done nothing else, I feel like we've at least created a level of competition for other providers to live up to. So we don't claim that we're serving everybody. We don't claim that we're here to be a magic bullet, but I do think we have caused other providers to raise their level of service. And so, we want to go where we're needed. We want to go where we're wanted. That's not everywhere, but obviously that covers a large portion of Pickens County. And this is just a picture of where we have to go left in this year. Most of that is in and around the Pickens area. It does tack up towards Dacusville a little bit and out towards 6 Mile a little bit, but we're very excited to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to this project, and we're very proud of it. And finally, Mr. Chairman and members of council, as I conclude, just a brief comment on sort of, again, who we are and where we're going from here. We will continue to take a look at areas that need service and areas that want us. We also now begin to offer a litany of free programs that can help people, quote unquote, cut the cord. I know streaming is a big topic these days, and folks may or may not understand what that means or how to do that. We offer some free courses to help them. We offer courses in cybersecurity and AI and what we call Wi-Fi X. Additionally, the thing I'm probably most proud of is we started a charitable foundation along with this initiative with our partners in West Carolina called the Upcountry Fiber Foundation. And that is a foundation that is funded by a couple of fundraising events we do every year, through some sponsorships with some vendors that we work with, and proud to say that we've donated over $200,000 to local charities, most of those inside Pickens County. So I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your partnership, and thank you for your efforts, what you've done for this county in the last 5 years. It's been an honor to play a small role in that. Glad to take any questions.
Any questions?
I just want to say, being there in the beginning, that map is very exciting to see, so thank you. I know that I called a lot and I hounded a lot, probably not as much as Alex, but,
Or me.
or Chris, but, because I was just eager to see it, so that's exciting. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to say, I finally did get on.
I'm glad you did, Councilman. You were very patient.
It took a long time for it to come.
Yes, sir.
I encountered 6 people through that whole process, from the phone call, the lady in Abbeville, to the man that came and set everything up. It was a positive experience for all 6 people.
Thanks.
And y'all got a good thing going. Very happy with the service.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
No, I just, one part of the story that I don't think Mr. Hinton gave enough service to was talking about why those original areas were picked. And if you look at that map, the stuff's kind of on the Norris side of Liberty that was first picked. That was the highest concentration of school children that didn't have access to internet. That's where that little square came from.
Yes, sir.
And so it was very rewarding at post year 1 build out to know that there were, I don't remember the number, but school children who had to go to, the library or McDonald's to get Wi-Fi during COVID, now they had it at home. And I think that was a really cool aspect of this program that I think they deserve credit for.
Well, I appreciate that. As, I still consider myself a new councilman. That's impressive, the amount of progress you've made in those 5 years. So thank you for that. What's your build out to full completion? What is your time frame on that?
So again, our initial project finishes up at the end of this year. But with what we've got left to do in Pickens County and some in Oconee County, our initial build out will be done.
Yeah, it's a great job.
Thanks, sir.
I remember when I was knocking doors up at Highway 11 in 2020. COVID hit like March 17th, I remember that stopped. Went out again in May, and at that point, everybody was home. And I'm knocking doors, and they're running at 3 megabits. If they're lucky. You're right, remember that. And I remember thinking, I was running at 12 south of Pickens. And I'm just gonna say it, AT&T had their copper network, they were basically abandoning it. And what changed everything is, what changed everything is when the state legislature allowed you to run the fiber on your electricity net. That changed everything. And they're a big fish, AT&T just didn't see Pickens County as a big deal, they did. And I'm running at 170 now, I could go up to 1,000 if I wanted. And what's the most amazing thing is the scheduling. When I talked to you guys 5 years ago, you said it's gonna take us 5 years. And I called you every few months. I was writing about it as we were going. We will be here in August, we'll be installing there in September, we'll be there by January. Every time, this guy was on the money. Not one time was he short, every time he hit his target. Otherwise, I would look like a complete fool, because I'm telling everybody that. I'm not surprised you're president. If you ran for president of the United States, you'd win in Pickens County. You did a great job. I mean, it's just, I can't say this, because I lived it. You know, great job. Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, next up is going to be item 11B. It's an overview of the accomplishments of EMS. And I want to talk a little bit about that. That was another big priority of ours. EMS has been a priority of this council for the last 3 or 4 years, and it started under the leadership of Councilor Bowers. It's continued through my term as chairman. Most of us ran on improving EMS. Mr. Roberts also made it a priority. And the results of this system-wide approach, I think, is really showing. Now, we'll talk about the fleet first. Before, EMS had 9 ambulance crews, and they were running 24/7. Today, they got 11 crews that are running 24/7. They lowered their response time from an average of 12 minutes to slightly below 10 minutes on average. The county fleet is 19 ambulances, 11 are frontline ambulances, and 8 are backups. When I asked the vehicle maintenance director to compare the fleet now versus 5 years ago, he said the fleet's 100% better. The 11 frontline ambulances now are the heavy-duty blue units that you see. And with the orange ones, the older units, the van-style chassis, they're now the backups. The frontline ones are now those new units. The final inspection, I think, occurred on 2 ambulances that were purchased for fiscal year 2025. I think that occurred last week. For 2026, 2 more ambulances should be delivered by August, another 2 in December.
That's right.
And then for 2027, the council approved the purchases of 3 new ambulances. And speaking with the director, Meredith Teskey, she said she might be able to stretch that to 4 new ambulances, given that budget. So fingers crossed on that. Staffing-wise, looking back to 2020, and this was a priority of Councilor Bowers, EMS had a problem with recruitment and retention. Today, EMS is fully staffed. They got 45 applicants for various EMS jobs in June. There's a waiting list for part-time EMS workers who want to become full-time workers. In contrast, Greenville County's EMS has 38 openings in their EMS department. Pay and a cultural change by Meredith Teskey and her 6 shift supervisors and their assistants is really what made the difference. There was a special pay raise for EMS workers around 2022, and Mr. Bowers was the chairman. And then that salary study in 2025. In the last 3-year, overall employees got a pay raise of 14%, then 5%, and then 6% for this year. EMS is built in, has a lot of built-in overtime, and the federal government has made that overtime tax-free. So that's adding up to helping those workers as well. Hopefully the state will add the tax-free overtime in 2027, and that will help even more of these workers that work overtime. Reflecting all these investments and more, EMS operating budget was up 24.8% last year. Little things like a training officer, we made leaps and bounds and improvements in clinical treatment protocols. Mr. Bowers knows what that is. Employees have increased too. Employee benefits have increased too. EMS workers now, I remember working on getting them the part-time workers holiday pay. We added a 12th holiday for all employees, which was Veterans Day. There's no longer a use it or lose it vacation policy. With the new PTO plan, someone who has 10 years experience here in the county, they actually get 30 paid days off plus 12 holidays. They get to carry 90 of those forward. Very generous. The county no longer has an employee retention problem. All those things help. Now, capital-wise, the EMS Ad Hoc Committee, which is Councilors Linville and Lang and Holloway, they made sure that EMS got some extra equipment, like new stretchers, cardiac monitors, and stair chairs. Out in the back now, we've got this new EMS headquarters, 911 call center, a training facility, which has EMS offices in it. It has training rooms, emergency equipment storage. It was a major upgrade for EMS headquarters, which used to be out in the old Hinkle-Chink building. No more. There was an $800,000 savings in building that building versus the estimated cost estimates for that building. EMS is going to get another new EMS station in Pickens for $1.2 million. The savings on that's about $300,000 there versus the sticker price. Other stations received new furniture. They were repainted. They got some new ovens. The Central Station was expanded where we added that extra crew down there. We did it in-house for $15,000. And the Easley Station was expanded as well. We added that crew there for $66,000, saving hundreds of thousands of dollars on those two projects. Much of those savings funded the extra pay raise for employees this year. We're spending money on capital, but I think we're becoming savvy shoppers. And I want to thank Mr. Roper and his staff for the efforts to stretch our tax dollars in that way. Dwayne Green also helped us as well. And one of the compliments I got from one of the senior supervisors, he said to me about 3 months ago, he goes, "This is the best it's been for the 20 years I've been in EMS in Pickens County." And he meant it. So Pickens County, I think, is now one of the top 3 in the state, along with Horry County and Prisma. And it's a good job all around. Does anybody want to add anything to that? Yeah, that was quite a job. Very impressive. Okay, next item up is going to be item number 12, which is the consent agenda. We've got none on that. Item 13 is executive session. So I'm going to make a motion to go to executive session for 3 items: Project Farmhouse, legal advice related to pending litigation, county administrative contract, and evaluation. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Okay, we're going to go have a break for about 10 or 15 minutes and then go back. If anybody wants to speak to the councilman, it's the time to do it. For those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign, passes unanimously. Thank you.
USA win.
Knows if USA won.
They were losing 3-1. Losing 3-1. Losing, lost, losing. I don't know about lost.
How much time is left?
5 minutes.
Oh.
Yes, it's not recording.
You get my computer.
Okay, we're about ready to go. Is everything ready? Jessica, you ready?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, so we're back in session. First item up is 13A, Economic Development, Project Farmhouse. Do I hear a motion on that?
Yes, we have 3 motions to make. Ready, Ms. Pratt?
Yes.
Motion number 1, we approve for the administrator to accept the $5 million+ South Carolina Department of Commerce grant for the mass grading of the farmhouse site and construction of an access road.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion on that? Those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign, passes unanimously.
Right. Motion number 2. A motion that we approve for the administrator to accept $953,740 South Carolina Power Team grant for the clearing, grubbing, and grading of the farmhouse site and associated roadway improvements.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion on that? Those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign, passes unanimously.
All right, motion number 3. Make a motion that we approve for the administrator to accept the $431,400 engineering proposal for the clearing, grubbing, and grading of the farmhouse site.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Yes, I wanted to just take a moment and thank, these are incredible grants that have been unlocked by our Alliance Pickens team that bring in a lot of money from the state and Appalachian region and put less money on the county to have to develop land. So I'm very thankful to our team. Thanks for your work.
Yes, thank you guys.
Any other discussion on that? Those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign, passes unanimously. Next item up is legal advice. We got that advice. Thank you very much. Final item is contract, county council, county administrator's contract. So I'm going to make a motion to offer Mr. Roper a 2-year contract extension to December 31st, 2028, as presented by county attorney. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, I want to say some things. It's a 2-year contract extension that takes the county administrator just to about January 2029. It freezes Mr. Roper's pay now up to 4 years. To his credit, he volunteered to do that. There's a severance if the council happens to terminate the contract early, but that payout is lower than it was before. I think he's doing a very good job. He's responsive to the public and the council. Just because he doesn't give the person the answer he wants doesn't mean he's not being responsive. He's got a backbone, he's got vision of where he wants to go. He also presents well, he's organized, and he thinks well on his feet, and he networks very well. I just think back when I was on the school board, we had 6 superintendents. I think they all did different things well. I mean, Dr. Pugh was a fantastic curriculum director. Dr. Merck was very good at administration. Dr. Stewart, the second time around, was effective and prudent project manager with those buildings. But I thought Dr. Henry Hunt was the best because he hit the ball to all fields. I mean, he had a good arm, he had a good glove, he was a good base runner. He did everything well out there. And Mr. Roper's that way too. I think he finds ways for this team to win in a variety of different ways. I put him in that class with Dr. Hunt, which was my favorite superintendent. Any other discussion? Okay, those in favor, raise your right hand. Same sign. Motion to adjourn.